Let's just take a breath, huh? Mm. Let's take another breath. So, our theme this month at Inner Light is gratitude. And our topic for this week is bearing witness to divine handiwork. And I'd like to say thank you and express gratitude for you allowing Inner Light, me, into your space. There's so many Zoom calls and meetings and things that are going on and social media right now. I understand that. And I know it can be, even a bit overwhelming sometimes. But the fact that you're tuning in now, the fact that of all of the places and opportunities that you have. And I trust that these times together bring some value added. I trust that as a result of your participation with Inner Light, that our coming together in community, regardless of where it is that we physically may be, that it's an experience that elevates us. It's an experience that motivates us. It's an experience that encourages us. Gratitude, I don't even have any words to say for how important of a concept that gratitude is. It is the ultimate attitude adjuster. I remember hearing the Imam Michael Salam, who is the Muslim chaplain at Pleasant Valley State Prison, where we've done most of our prison outreach work over the past 20 years, say to his fellows, we were underwriting one of their Eid celebrations, and it was an opportunity for them to have some food that was brought in and catered, and we were underwriting bean pies and chicken dinners and all the rest of these kinds of things. And he would tell the guys, before you even eat, express some gratitude to Inner Light Ministries. And he would always follow it with this. He would say, a lack of gratitude is the first sign of an unbeliever. And when I first heard that, that really struck me. And I've thought about that through the years. And the Imam was right. That a lack of gratitude is the first sign of an unbeliever. That when we start getting into a lack of gratitude, we become cynical. When we lack gratitude, there's a hardening of the heart that happens. We stop living in possibility. And that very narrative of not being in gratitude makes us not only, it not only blinds us to what can be, it prevents us from seeing what already is. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever had that moment, that epiphany? Maybe you were at odds with somebody or kind of in a sense of estrangement with them in your family or in the workplace or someplace in the community. And all of a sudden, you had some kind of a healing. And you begin to see that person or that situation through some brand new eyes. And I know when I have those breakthroughs, it energetically, it feels like a flush, like it kind of rushes from my head all down through my body, through my toes, and and back up again, like a flush. And I think to myself sometimes, oh my God, this has been right in front of me. You've been right in front of me. Or this blessing, whatever it is, it's been right in front of me, but I couldn't see it. My anger with you, my resistance, my story about you, my narrative, whatever it is. It could be your house, it could be the place that you live. It could be about anything. But that narrative that lacks any gratitude makes us unbelievers. And you say, well, unbelievers of what? Unbelievers of life. Unbelievers of the goodness of life. Unbelievers of possibility. Of knowing that there's so much more than just what's happening in front of us. When I get stuck and I'm not feeling it, and I can feel myself slipping into that place of the cynicism or the frustration, the exasperation, or whatever that is. One of my personal techniques is just starting to be aware of the divine handiwork. I start paying attention to everything that is around me. And I start getting in a sense of awe and wonder. Maybe it's a flower. Maybe it's a sunset. It could even be an artistic expression. It could be the simplest thing. It could be the aroma that comes from good foods as it's cooking. It could be a sense of texture or touch. Sometimes the warmth of a hot towel on my face and the steam. Just these little everyday things will bring me back to having a sense of gratitude. I know these times have been really trying for so many reasons, economically, politically, racial, social justice stuff, the environment. I mean, I can go on and on. I don't know anybody who's unscathed by COVID. It's impacted different people in different ways, some more severely than others, and the rippling effects of that. And all of the other things, climate change. We're still recovering from the bad fires on the West Coast. And at the same time, people have been getting unbelievably creative in how they do community. The things that people send me and they forward to me of whatever, songs that people have made or little videos that they have done or poems or things that are just, humorous and funny. We find our ways of rising above to the occasion. And I encourage you to do that. I encourage you when you feel like the world is too much with you. As it tells us in scripture, be not conformed to this age, to this world, to the stuff that's going on, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I know for myself, I really watch my narrative. And when I find myself getting into that narrative about how bad things are, or the doom, or the gloom, or all what isn't happening, I have to bring in the balance. And I'm going to ask you to bring in that balance, particularly around the things that are going on in our collective environment right now. Yeah, times are tense. And I hear talk all over the place about the divisiveness and how divided we are. Well, yeah, yeah, we can see that. We're very divided on our opinions or what it is that we think is right or best actions. However, I don't lose sight of how incredibly unified we are. Just soak that in for a second. Almost 150 million people have voted over the past 60 days. 150 million people. That it's just astonishing. That's mind-boggling. That something like 60% of all eligible people that could be voting, the largest turnouts in history. Now, those people who are turning out may not be agreeing on the policies. They may not be agreeing on who it is that they want to win the election, but the fact that 150 people all got together and participated in the same process at the same time. That's unification. That's an affirmation of our system. It's an affirmation of our democracy. Don't get stuck just looking at what it feels like is division. Because quiet is kept. This is the most unified election that we have ever had. I have never seen so many people. We've had the largest coalitions that we have ever had that have cut across all kind of strata. This is the most bipartisan election that we have ever had. You can look at the numbers and see how many quote unquote ticket splitters we had. People who voted Republican all the way down the ticket, but obviously didn't do that at the top. Regardless of where you may stand within things, I want you to be grateful for the fact that we're all in this together. This is a part of our handiwork right now. I've never seen anything like it. And this is my own personal gratitude to all of the people on the front lines, all of the people who are the essential workers, all of the people who are in the healthcare professions, the ones who are delivering packages, the ones who are making sure that we're fed, all of the teachers who are doing everything in the world that they can do to make sure that our kids are learning, for all of the parents and the sacrifices that you were making and getting up to snuff to be able to teach and to support your kids at home, for all of the people who are wearing masks. I can go on and on. I say thank you to all of the people who have put personality, who have put party aside, who have prioritized patriotism over the politics. I say thank you for all of the people who have put it on the line. I mean, put their jobs, put their reputations, put their safety, everything on the line to speak power to truth. I say thank you. There's so many narratives that we can have. But I invite you into a narrative about this moment that is affirmative of the totality of it. This thing that we call a democracy, that 150 people voted in, this thing called a democracy, it's not a contest. Yes, every now and then we have elections and parliamentary procedure, It's the point where you quote unquote call the question, where there's no more discussion, and it's time to see where people weigh in on things so we know which ways to go. But the majority of our time is not in a contest trying to weigh in. A democracy is a relationship. It's a collective consciousness. It's not a contest. It's a collaboration. It's where we come together, where I have some gratitude, I have some appreciation for the fact that everybody's not like me, where my goal in life is not trying to convert you, not trying to make everybody conform to my issues and my points of view, but instead building the beloved community. And in this beloved community, there's room enough for all of us. In this beloved community, we can listen. In this beloved community, we can hear each other's concerns and come together in a collegial fashion. And let's hash it out. Let's look at our alternatives. Let's look at the opportunities that we have together. There's a give a little, there's a take a little, like there is in every kind of a relationship. There's compromise, not to the extent of your values and what it is that you stand for, but a little bit of compromise on your attachments, a little bit of compromise on my way or the highway, a willingness to build that more perfect union. And if I'm grateful for you, if I'm grateful if I'm grateful for this opportunity, then we're more likely to come up with something that's a little bit more amenable to both of us, to all of us. If it's just a contest and all I want to do is win over you, if all I'm thinking of is like, we won, no, it's we're one. We're one. Just breathe that in for a moment. We're here together. We're here together. No, I may not agree with you if we're in a marriage or we're siblings or in any other kind of close relationship. I may not agree with you, but I'm grateful for your commitment. I'm grateful the fact that you keep showing up in this marriage and trying to work it out with me. I'm grateful that as siblings, hey, we all got to do pitch in a little bit to take care of mama. Or, hey, there's this thing that's going on here with the house. Or, hey, brother lost his job and we all need to cook a few meals and take the kids in for a little while, or whatever that is that says that in spite of the fact that we don't see eye to eye, we're in it together. We're in it together. And I respect and I appreciate you as a spiritual being. I understand that you are a person that has goals and dreams and aspirations. That if I can get to that place in my heart, just breathe that in for a moment. Like I said in my last sermon, if you're in here and you're duking it out because you think that you're like fighting for democracy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Democracy is a relationship. If you're fighting for the relationship, you don't fight the people in the relationship. If you're fighting for the relationship, you got to stop fighting against the people in the relationship. At some point, there has to be some gratitude for the fact that you even want to have a relationship, even if you can't have the one that you've been in. Relationships are always evolving and they're always changing. And that to me is part of the beauty and the handiwork of the divine. Life never creates the same thing twice. That's the handiwork of the divine. The fact that things are always evolving and shifting and changing. The fact that we can't ever step into the same river twice. We can't, because the river keeps flowing, and at every moment it's a different river. And because we keep changing. Literally, even the cells in our body keep changing. So that the person that stepped in the river on Tuesday, the person that steps in the river on the following Thursday, it's not the same person and it's not the same river. Breathe that in. What does it say about us and life in this moment and the handiwork? The river's flowing. We can't step back into the same one twice. It's never going to be what it was before. And we're never going to be who we were before. But part of this handiwork is that if we're able to show up like life itself, not attached to the forms of what it used to be. This fall and winter is not trying to repeat and recreate last fall and winter. The spring and the summer is not trying to be the same spring and summer. There's a regeneration that happens. That's part of the handiwork. There's a regeneration that happens in us individually, and that regeneration will happen in us collectively if we allow it, if we claim it. Not a sad stop story about, oh, well, everything that we had is gone, and oh, we got to start all over again, or oh, we got to do it. No. This is purposeful. May not be what we want, but it's purposeful. And we're here for such a time as this. Just breathe that in. For such a time as this. When we get into the wonder, when we get into the curiosity, when we get into the place of expectancy beyond particular expectations, it's kind of like, whee! How is this going to unfold? What's next? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? You know, like when you're watching your kids grow, you don't know what they're going to be. You don't know how it's going to turn out. And you're not sitting around waiting till you have the answer. You're enjoying them and each other every step of the way. Shifting, changing, adapting to who we are, where we are, when we are. We're all children of God, and we're all growing and shifting. And if we could just play together, rejoice in the fact that there's one heart, one life, one mind, and our incredible variety and diversity and changing and evolution, that's a part of divine handiwork. Let's just turn within and pray for a moment. We surrender. We surrender. We surrender all. We open up wide the floodgates of our heart. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit Almighty. Thank you to the ancestors. Thank you to all of the elements, the energy and the healing properties of the waters, of the fire, earth, and the air, the winged creatures and the creepy crawly ones, and all sentient beings. We're all sharing this thing called life together. We give thanks for the sun and the moon and the stars and the planet that we so love and protect. As part of our being, we come out of her. Adam, earth being, from the Adamah. Thank you. Thank you. Everything comes out of you, and you receive everything back unto you. For the food that you bear for us, the way you clean up all our waste and everything, that you turn our crap into fertilizer. Thank you. Truly God's handiwork. Create in us a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within us. We drop the armor. We drop the weapon. We open our hearts. We open our mind. We open our arm. We open our pocketbooks. We open our home. We open our consciousness, our nation, our communities. We're open. In this moment right now, I pray the prayer of sufficiency and enoughness. That you're the comforter in the midnight hour. That there be food. That there be shelter. Divine right transportation. And that for everybody stressing out right now and wondering if it's going to be all right, if I'm going to be all right, what's going to happen to my family, what's going to happen to my business, what's going to happen to my job, what's going to happen, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. God is what's happening. We rest into that God is what's happening. Thank you. Thank you for keeping watch with us. Peace be still. All over the world in these times of social, political change and unrest, In these times of climate change and unrest, peace, be still. We call upon our higher angels, our will, our willingness. And when we're not willing, oh God, I pray, make us willing to be willing. When I can't forgive, make me willing to forgive. And if I'm not willing to forgive, help me to be willing to be willing to forgive. However far back I have to go, I surrender to that. In this moment, right now. Thank you for keeping us. Oh God, by any name, thank you for sustaining us. We heed the call. We come up a little higher for such a time as this.